Hi, I'm Neural from Actifost. I'll show you how to install Postal on a VPS using Docker and how to configure DNS for reliable email delivery. Now that we've logged into our virtual machine, the first thing I'll do is update and upgrade the machine to make sure all installed packages are up to date. Great, our virtual machine is now fully updated, and I'll move on to installing Git, curl, and JQ. The next step is to install Docker, but to make things a little easier for myself, I'll copy the command from our tutorial on Actifost, where we explain the entire process step by step. After installing Docker, I'll check to see if the installation was successful. You should do the same. Please wait patiently for the installation to finish. This may take 1 or 2 minutes. Once the installation is complete, be sure to check the Docker version. Great! We now have a fully functional Docker installation. Next, we'll change the host name of our Ubuntu installation, and then we'll add the new host name to the host file. It's easy. Just follow along step by step, and we'll get it done together. Now that we have the correct host name and information in our host file, I'll move on to the next step, which is to create an A record in our domain's DNS settings. This A record will make our host name fully functional and authentic. Great! We've already created an A record for our domain, and now it's time to add our host name to the reverse DNS. This is extremely important because if the reverse DNS doesn't match the machine's host name, there's a more than 90% chance the email will end up in the spam folder. Now we can move on to the main part, which is cloning the Postal repository from GitHub to set up our installation. In our article on Actifost, we've got the commands ready to go, so it's literally plug and play. We've already cloned the Postal repository, so now we're moving on to installing the database we'll be using. Copy the command from our article and paste it into your SSH terminal, but please make sure to use a strong password. In this video, we're using a sample password, which is not recommended at all in a production environment. Now it's time to generate the Postal configuration files. Copy the command, and don't forget to replace the domain with your own. We already have the Postal configuration files. Now we need to edit them to set the password we used earlier. By the way, using this configuration file, the Postal installer will ensure that everything works flawlessly. Use the MariaDB password for the main DB group and the message DB group. Next, we're going to run the Postal initialize command. The Postal initialize command is used to prepare Postal for its first run. When you install Postal, the software files are there, but nothing is configured yet. This command performs the initial setup required to make everything functional. It sets up the database structure, generates important configuration files, and creates secure keys that Postal needs to operate safely. It also prepares the internal environment so all services can communicate correctly once the server starts. This step will be completed in about 1 or 2 minutes, and then we can move on to the next step. So just relax, we'll continue in a moment. In the next step, we'll create our admin account. Be sure to use a valid email address and a strong password, because the last thing you want is for someone to gain access to your SMTP. Copy the command and paste it into the terminal. Then follow the on-screen instructions. After a long struggle, the time has come to launch our Postal server. I'm going to start Postal now and then check the status of our Postal Docker container. You should do the same. Next, we're going to set up Caddy. Caddy is a modern web server that acts as a reverse proxy in front of Postal. It handles incoming web traffic and securely routes it to your Postal application. We're almost done. All that's left is to create MX, SPF, and return path records. I know it's confusing, but just follow the steps with me and you'll get it. Now I'm going to create an MX record that points to the host name we use for Postal SMTP. Great, the recording has been created, but I always prefer to check it after saving it to make sure everything is okay. Now we need to create a TXT record for our SPF record. It's important to use the correct IP address in the record. Otherwise, all sent emails will be rejected by the recipient. Great, we have MX and SPF records now. And next up is the A record for the return path. Now we can be sure that our SMTP server is ready for production. Don't forget to use your IP address in the return path record. I'm proud of you. Together, we managed to go through all the steps. Now the moment we've been waiting for has arrived. We're about to open the Postal dashboard, and we can mark this task as a success.